You'll hear it hiss as you connect it because as you do this, you're going to depress that one-way valve, so it'll start making some hissing noises. Aha. Now we can use it. Now we can meter out the flow. But notice we've got all sorts of cool little gizmos. We have now flow meters that range in flow of 0 to what, 15? So we can actually meter out flow in small quantities to power a piece of respiratory therapy equipment. Or, if we want to get really fancy, we can take and hook up another gizmo, and this is going to be for your education. This thing. Of course, now notice, what do you see here? These fittings? You've got a flow meter and a spare set of fittings. Ah, what's happening? Okay, we ran into a problem, didn't we? Oh, there's no one-way valves here. So whenever you attach a piece of equipment, you got to know, does it have a little one-way valve in it? Otherwise, you release the air into the room at 50 psi. So these are called high-pressure takeoffs. They're meant for taking high pressure to another place through a high-pressure hose. Most of the hoses do not have pressure relief valves in them. So you need to know that. If you're going to hook this up to somewhere else, you need to already know that it's already attached, so the gas flow just doesn't run into the room. So you now have a cylinder, you now have a pressure reducing valve, and a flow metering system. And by definition, when you connect a pressure reducing valve with a flow metering system, you have something else called a regulator. Whenever you mix the two parts, you have a regulator. They're usually not disassemblable like this. You can take them apart. Usually a regulator is built together. For example, here, no, that's not it. Here's a regulator. It has connection. It has a pressure reducing valve behind this knob, and it has a flow metering system. By virtue of that, it's a regulator. It's got both parts. If I take one part off of that over there, take the flow meters off, I'm left with a pressure reducing valve. Okay. So, different regulators up here of various shapes. Here's another regulator. Oh, now notice, this one over there was threaded, wasn't it? And still is. This one is different. This is called a post-yoke system. You actually make the connection with this yoke area, and these are pins that line up lock and key with a particular gas source, either oxygen or air or helium or nitrogen or something. And you connect these two together, and you have a way of using what's in the cylinder. And this one is called the post system, pin index safety system, and it uses the post and the yoke. For example, here is the post. Connects like so. There you have it. Now if I screw a cylinder onto that, I could make it work. But I just had that loose so you could actually see. Each gas source has a different lock and key. This is oxygen, and it's called 2.7. The fittings, the holes are drilled at a semicircular pattern at 2.5. The 2 o'clock and the 5 o'clock sit all on a clock face. That's where the pins are drilled, so it'll fit. Different gases have different lock mechanisms, so you can't mix them up. So this is called a pin index safety system, also known as the abbreviated PISS system, which always makes people laugh. So we have an ASSS system over there, American Standard Safety System, and a PISS system. I'm not going to say it, but y'all get the picture. And then we have, for everything else that is threaded, we call it diameter index safety system. So what is diameter index threaded safety system? Anything that regulates gas flow on the outside port. Those are DISS fittings right there. Anything that you thread an object to is a diameter index safety system. So anything with threads on it allowing gas to leave is a DISS. So is this. That's a DISS fitting for oxygen. Now, other safety systems and ways to connect.